Right, so I feel I know the rules now, the plays, some of the shouts.
I would like to hear, we're going to have to test you on the plays.
Can I just do a bit of research? We'll
take your word for it.
And then we'll go in and learn about the game next.
Sounds good.
So what is the actual role? What is your role? What's it called?
So I'll go through the offensive players. Mark, you can go through the defense.
You got it.
Guys. So I played offensive line. And on the offensive line, there's 5 different positions. There's a center. He's the one who will snap the ball to the quarterback. There's 2 offensive guards. They're right next to the center. And then 2 offensive tackles, a right and a left. I played left tackle. Then there's a tight end. He has to be able to block. Then you have your 2 wide receivers. You will then have a halfback, which is the main running back who will get the ball and run around. And then there's the quarterback, who is he's the coach on the field. He's making sure everyone gets lined up. He's calling the plays, the snap count, kind of directing traffic out there. He's in charge.
On the defense side of the ball, there's defensive linemen, but within the defensive line, there are specific positions. There's defensive tackles. In some defensive systems, there are nose guards, the guys that line up right in front of the center. Then you have your defensive ends, pass rushers like a Calais Campbell. Anik Ngakoue is a perfect example of a pass rusher, a guy that goes and gets guys like me, sacks the quarterback. Yeah. There's linebackers, there's inside linebackers, outside linebackers. In what we call the secondary, the defensive backs, there are corners, Jalen Ramsey, and then there are safeties, the guys that are kind of the covering the receivers. They're called safeties for a reason. They'll come up and make a tackle.
They're the last line of defense, really.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are the defensive and offensive positions. There's special teams players that have a specific job.
Long snapper.
Long snappers who snap the ball to the holders.
I was going to ask about the kicker. So is he just wheeled on to kick? Does he not play?
That's all he does.
He just does.
He just kick. Now he might kick off to start a game or after a touchdown or a field goal.
He literally can be either the most hated person on the team or the most loved.
Oh my, that's a lot of pressure.
If he misses it, nobody wants to talk to him.
Oh my God.
You either love him or you hate him.
Yeah, I hate him. Yep. And if he makes it, he's the hero.
Can you imagine, like you've played that game, like tough game, like you're going to go to the
you're
Super Bowl,
bleeding.
You're bleeding and all that, and he's just been doing nothing. He comes, he's got one job to do, and he misses. And you got a flight home 6 hours.
Well, the best is...
Happens all the time.
Really?
All the time.
Mark was in the Super Bowl. I've never been more nervous in my life. I wasn't even playing. I was retired. Mark was the holder. So we had to hold for the kicker. And all I could think the whole time is, Mark, please don't screw this up.
What do you think I was thinking?
It's laces out, isn't it? Because Ray Finkel.
That's right, laces out.
Laces out, man.
Ray Finkel
Laces
still
out,
hasn't made it.
No.
Have you ever been one of the guys that had to make a penalty kick?
Do you know what? There's a derby between Portsmouth and Southampton, and it's a South Coast derby. They hate each other. But I was young and naive. I think I was just like, yeah, I'll take it. And I saw the coach. I looked over, and I didn't look over because I knew I wasn't the penalty taker. And I looked at Harry, and he was like, he didn't know what to do. He's the manager. He didn't know what to do. And I had the ball, and I looked at him, and he was going, no. I swear to God, genuinely. And I went, that's not filling me with full of confidence, really. But anyway, put it down, and thankfully scored it. But it was a lot of pressure riding on that because I knew the manager did not want to go to Fratton Park. Yeah, I just wanted to get into the size of the teams. You talk about defensive, offensive, the amount of coaches seem like you'd probably fill this room.
On an active roster, there's 53 guys. And then game day, there's 45 that are active, that can actually play. You saw how big the locker rooms are.
Yeah.
And now...
But you're not small men either, right?
No, they're not small.
Yeah.
And it's much easier, it's much nicer now because all the new stadiums, the locker rooms are nice.
Can you imagine taking these to Griffin Park? Genuinely, you cannot fit. You've got 11 players who can fit like this, not comfortably at all, but the rest are standing outside waiting to get changed.
Plus, you think about this, you've got real big guys like him.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got shoulder pads, helmets, all these pads, the whole kit and all this stuff. I mean, it takes up a lot of space.
So, I mean, you have 18 guys in the Premier League who travel.
Yeah.
What's it like? What's the dynamic like?
There's so many people from so many different... So you have pockets of people. You have the Spanish all sit together. The South Americans all sit together.
I noticed you said no Americans. No Americans.
We don't
want them.
We don't
don't want them.
We don't want them on our team.
Play football.
At Stoke we had Jeff Cameron. I don't know if you know Jeff Cameron. Yeah, he's a great lad. I still speak to him. He's a great lad. But I mean, everything was better in the US. Everything. We used to take the mick. I was like, this one time in Houston. Every time, honestly.
You know, we had a guy like that. We called his nickname was Topper.
Topper.
Because no matter what you said, he'd top it.
Yeah.
Tenerife, he's been to
Topper.
11 already.
Yeah.
I feel like you're speaking about Jeff then.
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, I was really interested to know how the league works.
In the NFL, there's no going up or going down. There's 32 teams, 2 conferences, the American Football Conference, the AFC, and the National Football Conference, the NFC. Within those conferences, there are 4 divisions. For example, the NFC West, the NFC East, the NFC South, and the NFC North. For the Super Bowl, the best team from the AFC, who wins the AFC Championship game, plays the best team from the NFC, the winner of the NFC Championship game, and that's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so obviously the Super Bowl is the pinnacle, the Champions League final of the NFL, American football. Everyone watches it here. I mean, I haven't got a clue what's going on, but you know,
But you do now.
I love Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. I think now I would definitely watch the run up to the Super Bowl because it's just for me it was just I watched that because it was the Super Bowl. So I mean is that the pinnacle of your career?
There's no question.
Yeah, that's it.
No question. I actually was fortunate to play in one when I was with the New Orleans Saints. Some guys are fortunate to be able to go to 3, 4, 5, Super Bowls in their career. I played 19 years. I got to go to 1, and so I knew how special it was. And you go out before the game, and there's movie stars and celebrities and all these people that you see on TV. Big deal. But honestly, Peter, when the game starts, it really just feels like another football game. It really does. And you've been in the World Cup. Maybe it's similar. One of my favorite moments ever in sports, and to be a part of that was really, really cool.
Draft to me is a completely alien thing.
Well, and you have no say. If you're a player, you go play at one of the universities, and then based on how well you do there, the NFL will send scouts and coaches to come watch you and kind of rate you. Based on the year before outcomes, the teams are ranked. So the worst team in the NFL will get the first pick,
right,
and the team who wins the Super Bowl will get the 32nd pick. And there's 7 rounds. And as a college player, you just sit back, and it's over a 3-day period. You sit back and you wait for your name to be called. I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, went to school in Los Angeles at University of Southern California. I didn't even know where Jacksonville was.
Seriously?
No idea, because it was a brand new team.
But you live there now, still?
I still live there today.
And you retired?
I mean, it's a great place. My wife was from California, and she's like, listen, if we don't get drafted by somewhere where there's a beach, we're not living there.
Right.
And so, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
And so Jacksonville is a beautiful city.
I was traded to Jacksonville about 4 days before he was drafted, so we got there at the same time.
Okay. So like in the Premier League, you have the transfer. So a team will pay for your rights.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen. There's no money. There's no money. We're not buying you.
What you're doing, like the Green Bay Packers bought the rights to Mark with draft picks.
Yep.
It seems a lot more fair. Like in the Premier League, typically the best team spends the most money or has the most money available to them, and I think that is over the course of history. This is the odd time. Leicester won the league. Maybe we could take a little leaf out of the NFL's book with some of it. I might end up at Barcelona. To do that.